Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Will Smith with his lovely wife,
Shabbat Shalom, family.
Tamika Smith, here with y'all on the Sabbath day gather. And we are gathering together. We have family in our house today. Give a praise to y'all.
Hallelujah.
All right. Praise y'all. So we have a little small gathering going on here today.
Yes.
We just thank y'all for that. And even if though y'all are in the house, if you want to join in on the live chat, you might have praise you want to give, whatever the deal is, still join in on that. And
Hallelujah.
we will be still giving out the scriptures to the side here on the live chat. So, hey, so as y'all see, the title is called Receiving Wise Counsel.
Yeah.
And the first person or the first anybody that we should be receiving counsel from is who? Yahushua HaMashiach, Yahuwah,
Yes.
the Ruach, through the Ruach HaKodesh. So as we go to him, we are led by the Spirit. What do we always say? As we acknowledge him
In all thy ways, so he will direct our path.
He will direct our path. And so therefore, his direction, his guidance is counseling us.
Yes.
And so remember what he said that he would send back? He said that the comforter will be what? A counselor for us. So he's our counselor.
Hallelujah.
And so many times, the reason I bring this up is because so many times in our walk and in our daily life, we have people that surrounds us that are negative.
Yeah.
And so what a lot of people do is they get with these people that are in that council and ask them things that they're gonna give them a negative output or a negative outlook on.
Right.
And one thing that one of my mentors said is there are 4 different types of people. You have adders, multipliers, subtractors, and dividers.
That's right.
And if you pay attention to it, you realize that a lot of people that may see that you're doing good, if you go to them for a certain type of counsel, say for instance you're in a good relationship and y'all hit a bump in the road, but that person there never had a good relationship, is always in ups and downs of relationship. Well, if you go to them for relationship advice, what type of advice do you think that they're gonna give you?
Negative.
They're gonna give you advice because a lot of times it is truth. Misery truly does love company.
That's right.
So that's something that we have to really be careful of. Yeah. So keep an eye on that. And so in saying that, I want to read Psalm chapter 1, verses 1 through 6. Psalm chapter 1, verses 1 through 6. It said, "Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful." Before I go any further, let's talk about that word counsel. That word counsel in Hebrew means ya'at, meaning to advise, or it can mean to conspire against. It can mean to devise or consult together or give guidance, direction, or even instruction.
Yes.
So when we look at that word, what we're saying right now, we're looking for, we don't want to be in the counsel of the wicked. We don't want to, because if we're in the counsel of the wicked, what begins to happen is we begin to devise wicked plans on other people. And so therefore we have to understand, even when you find yourself at work, you may be the one amongst everybody else that is living a life of to Yah.
That's right.
And others may not be, and they know that your light is there, but they want you to join in on counsel with them. But see, you have to be the one that turns the direction on the way that they're viewing things and that they're the way that they're talking or whatever, because you don't want to join in on certain communication, because evil communication corrupt good manner. So we have to be careful with that, because and the type of people that we surround ourselves with, because we may surround ourselves, with people that we believe think is our friends, but yet on and on they turn around and betray us with a kiss on the cheek. So we have to be careful of things like that, and that's why you have to know those who labor amongst you. And when you know those who labor amongst you, you know who you can lean and depend on and go to for prayer, and not have to worry about your business getting out here and there. But look what verse 2 say. But his delight is in the Torah of YAHUAH, and his Torah he meditates day and night.
That's right.
And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water
Yes.
that brings forth his fruit in his season. Now, think about what a tree planted by the rivers of water. It means that it could stand for a long time because that water is constantly nourishing it, constantly
Yes.
feeding it. And so when you're in your word day and night, meditating in it, you're seeking counsel of Yah.
That's
You're
right.
able to
That's
stand
right.
in the day of evil. You're able to stand in the day of tribulation.
That's right.
You're able to stand
That's
through
right.
certain
Hallelujah.
circumstances that come your way, even when others give up and or is telling you to give up. Because remember, Job, now listen, this is what I love about my wife. Certain things I go to her about, and I'll be like, you know what? I'm just gonna take time off on Sabbath. They got her. You can't do that. Then what about everybody else that you're feeding? And well,
That's
that
right.
Yah is
That's
giving you a
right.
word to feed, right?
Hallelujah.
And so
Come on.
she had sometimes we had to be there to lift the other one up when we begin
That's
to feel
right.
frail
That's right.
and weak. Because at times, as we talked about before, the enemy will try to bring doubt to you, try to make you cause you
Yes.
to fear.
Amen.
And if he could cause you to fear and twist and contort your faith, then it interferes with the way that you're supposed to be operating in the laws of Yah.
That's
So
right.
so one thing I love about it, the scripture say to have a good wife is a crown unto thy head, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so a lot of times now Job, his wife, she told him to do what? Curse your God, curse your God and die. That was bad counsel.
That's right.
But what did he do? He dismissed her and said he's gonna continue to call on the one
That's
that he
right.
knows that can save him in his day of calamity.
Hallelujah.
All right. And so therefore we have to be able to know. That's why we meditate on his word day and night.
Yes.
Because he said you will be like a tree planted by the river of water. I mean, and so if you're like that tree planted by the river of water, that means that you're getting your nourishment.
Yes.
That means that when the wind comes and begins to blow, you're not just gonna fall over. And so meaning when those tribulations, when those accusations, when those persecutions and these different things come up against you, you ain't just gonna fall over and fold.
Thank you.
You're gonna be willing to stand. And so that's why it's good to be in wise counsel, because now you can gather together with those that are trusted, right? Because you don't get people that you don't trust to give you counsel. You get those that you do trust to give you counsel. So that way you can be led properly. And not only that, sometimes, that advice that is given, you might not follow through exactly with what they have advised you to do, but their advice may even give you some idea of the way that you should handle something. You know what I mean? And even though you didn't fully follow through with their advice still was a help to you because, I didn't look at it that way. Okay, now I add what I had and put with that. Yes. And so sometimes we have to be willing to hear what others is trying to advise us on. Look what it say. And still in verse 3 it said, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither. Whatsoever he does shall prosper. Whatsoever he does shall prosper. Listen to that. Now. And now look what it said. The wicked are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind drives away. Remember what I was just saying about that tree being planted by the river. The wind comes and it ain't going to fall over, but that chaff is going to blow on away.
That's right now.
And so therefore the wicked shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. They won't be able to be in that assembly with the righteous. Remember, Yah is going to already have sealed his people that he's going to save in that day of calamity. So look, for Yahuwah knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked shall do what? Perish. It shall perish. What you got?
Hallelujah. When you was talking about blessed is the man that walk not in the counsel of the wicked. A lot of times when he is saying that, sometimes we got to listen to Yah's instruction. A lot of times through the Ruach HaKodesh, he will minister to us. And what we do, is that you, Yah, talking to me, or is that myself? We got to know the spirit when he's talking to us. And I'm gonna come from Proverbs chapter 8, verses 32 through 36. Because we need to know that we need to understand that we need to listen to Yah's instruction. Now, therefore, hearken unto me, O ye children, For blessed are they that guard my ways. Blessed are they that keep my ways, protect my ways. He said that he will seal or circumcise our heart so he may come in and we should make it the apple of thy eye. That means we need to constantly watch the word, protect ourselves from anything that's trying to enter into our heart to take over. That's why he said once he come into us, he will cleanse us out, garnish us out, make us clean, and that unclean spirit shall leave. And but it's gonna leave and go around dry places seeking. But if it cannot find a vessel, guess what? It's coming back to you. But he's gonna come back. That unclean spirit's gonna come back and see if your vessel is still clean. But if you find your vessel clean and garnished, it will not enter in. But sometimes when we get cleansed out by Yahushua, guess what we do? We go back and taint our vessel. That means we go back to our old ways. Now that unclean spirit has come back to us, and guess what? It can enter back in because we're not cleansed. So once we stay cleansed, God, we got to keep ourselves nourished in the word. That is the keep. It will keep us cleansed. The word it purifies us. It don't just shower us, it cleanses us day and night. Whenever as I take shower, we should constantly be washed in the word. That's why Psalm 51 tells us, wash us with hyssop, make us whiter than snow. Create within us a clean heart and renew within us that right ruach, that right spirit. And number 30 say, hear instructions. Guys, we got to hear direction from our Yahuwah. When he's speaking to us, we got to hear his orders. That's why he says, those who love me will do what? Keep his commandments. We got to be obedient with his word. We got to let him rule us. I'm sorry. We got to ask him to guide us. And once he begins to guide and lead us, then we stay on his straight and narrow path. He said he's the way, the truth, and the life. We got to stay behind him. That's why when he came to his disciples, when he was getting the ones that he chosen, he was saying, follow me. And he said, any man that follow me must deny himself, take up their cross, and follow behind him daily. And it says, number 33, hear instructions and be wise and refuse it not. Right. Now, this is your father talking. Hear instruction and be wise and refuse it not. Blessed is the man that hears me, watching daily at my gates. We got to watch daily at his gates. Guys, we got to be sober. We got to be vigilant. We cannot be drunken in the ruach. And then it said, waiting at the post of my doors, for whosoever finds me finds life and shall obtain favor of Yahuwah. But he that sins against me wrongs his own souls. All that hate me love death. What are the wages of sin? Yeah. But the gift of Yah. And so we got to listen to him, guys. And one person that listened to him was Anna. In the book of Acts, it speaks about her saying that when her husband had passed away, she went inside the synagogue. She heard her father tell her to go inside the temple, and she began to live inside the temple and pray and fast all day and all night. We got to listen to him when he tells us things. When Hannah began to pray for her child because she couldn't have a child, she went to him, and it says that her lips moved, but no word came out. But Yahuwah began to honor her, and she said, I will give my child back to her. Right. So he honored her request, and she had to give her child back, and she said, train him up. So when Yahuwah speaks to us, we got to listen and pay attention.
Okay. And so look now in Proverbs 11 and 14. Proverbs 11 and 14. Look what it says, because I already got you, babe. Okay. It ties in with what she's saying right here. Look what it says. Where no counsel is, listen to that now. Where no counsel is, the people fall.
Come on now.
But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety.
Come on now.
And I want to show you something. That word counselor, ya'at, meaning advisor, consultant, a guide, a mentor, or a confidant. And so remember, this is what Yahushua was doing with his disciples. He was mentoring them. He was guiding them. He was leading them. And what do we ask him to do? Lead us down the path of what? Righteousness. He said, for his name's sake, he shall lead us down the path of righteousness.
That's right.
So as we seek counsel from Yah, remember what it just said there in verse 14, where no counsel is. So a lot of us step out into life doing things without even seeking Yah's first permission, and then seeking his counsel so that we can know and understand how to deal with things. Say for instance, you have a certain situation with a person, and in your head, the devil is already giving you information on what to say. You need to say this to that person. You need to do this. You need to do that. But if you stop for a moment and take the time and allow Yah to direct your heart,
that's right.
And what the matter is need to be said, not your mind, but your heart. On the matter of what needs to be said, guess what? There will not be a fall behind what you go to do.
Right.
Why? Because he will lead you into the path of understanding on the way to deal with certain situations.
Yeah.
I had a certain situation at work, and it was left up to me by my boss to deal with the situation, which it should have been something that was already dealt with before I got there. But I say, yeah, you tell me how to instruct me on how to go to this person, how to present this to this person without me lashing out or being fearful of him lashing out. And when I say fearful, is because if he lashes out at me, then I don't want myself, you see, my flesh to overtake me, and then I lash back out. So I asked him to give me the proper way on how to deal with this. And then a lot of times what y'all will do is, remember he'll bring things back to your memory.
Yeah.
Remember with this person, they had this going on. You sometimes have to learn how to build rapport. Rapport is learning how to build a good relationship with those that you work with, a good relationship around those that you surround yourself with. So that way, when topics like that do come up, you're able to present it in a proper way that they will be willing to hear you. Remember, the wise receive instruction, but the foolish will dismiss it.
That's right.
And so sometimes when you're dealing with people that does not have much wisdom, you have to go seek the one that gives you wisdom, or will reveal wisdom to you so that you can handle your situations properly. It may be when you go in to get a tire change, and like a lot of guys try to get over on female. Seek Yah. And that way you know how it's y'all will teach you that language, how to deal with them.
Yes, he will.
You know, before you go, he'll go ahead and give you all the instructions that's needed.
That's right.
Before we moved here, we prayed. Yah, if you sending us up to North Carolina, you give us guidance, direction on what it is we need to be doing and where we need to go. And he told us that wherever we went, whatever apartment we decided to go to, at the time, he said that we wouldn't have to pay no down deposit. So we had to listen to what he told us to, because if we would have did it any other way, we would have found ourselves in disobedience first, and secondly in the fall. Because we would have been having setbacks over and over. But now that we're doing it the way that he told us to do, look, I mean, I ain't saying that we in the most comfortable place, but we're prospering from being able to do and do the work of minister, of evangelist, of prophet, and just be able to minister his word to others. I mean, and so therefore we have to seek the counsel of the wise. Another scripture I want to go to real quick: Proverbs chapter 12, verse 15. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 15. Look what it says: the way of a fool is right in his own eyes. The ways of a fool is right in his own eyes. Do you see that? But it said, but he that hearkens unto counsel is wise. He that hearkens unto counsel is wise. And part of the reason why this study was given to me, because I was seeking y'all on how so many people, as we were going to the stores and different places, try to get all our stuff before the Sabbath, it was just so packed and so busy and so this and that. And then I had to remember, oh, that's right, the celebration of Easter. So just like you have these I call them feast days that's coming up that people are doing these things, keeping these days. We though we don't play a part in it, we have to seek Yah on how to properly deal with it. How do you present present to people that think that they're doing something right, but not because they're following tradition or following it? How do you present it to people? And it's through wisdom, through seeking Yah on how to open the eyes of those that have been blinded, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times if we just overlook it and say, oh, I'm not going to worry about it, well, that's not right, because how is that love of your neighbor when you see that they're doing wrong?
That's right.
And so therefore, as it said a fool is right. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. And so therefore, and not saying that people are fools, but because they don't take the time to seek and understand what these different pagan feast days are about.
That's right.
They folly in their own mess. That's and they begin to play around in it. And so therefore you get people that they going where on this Sunday. You're gonna have so many people in church. So I'm gonna tell you, all those of you that keep the Sabbath, if you hadn't did your shopping or any of that before the Sabbath start, get out there early tomorrow. You won't have to worry about none of the stores being packed because everybody be in the church.
Oh man. And
so I mean, just a word to the wise. As you begin to know better, you do better.
That's
to him
right.
that know to do good and do it not, to him to sin. And so therefore, we have to follow what they say. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkens unto the counsel of the wise. And that's just like, so I'm going to just use my auntie for example. I love my auntie because ever since I've been giving the word, preaching the gospel, and just doing this, she been faithful to the ministry. I mean, and by the way, y'all give congratulations. Her name Cassandra Pappas on that. Just shoot a congratulations out to her because she just became anointed evangelist.
Hallelujah.
I mean, so we thank y'all for
hallelujah.
That. And the house of restoration.
Yes.
So but as I begin to reveal these things to her, she began to shift and learn from it, and then begin to change certain patterns of certain things. And listen, like I tell everybody, I didn't say there's nothing wrong with going to church on Saturday. The main thing that I want to point out to people is that we are to keep the Sabbath and then to keep it holy, because that's the day that he has chosen to commune with his people.
Right.
That's the day that he has made a sign between his people and him. It's a what? Covenant. That means that you're being marked. That means that you have been hand chosen, picked, selected, a holy people, a holy generation. I mean, and so therefore we have to seek his counsel. And that way, as we seek his counsel and we learn through his wisdom, because remember, his wisdom what comes from above. But every other wisdom that they find, it comes below. It's earthly, it's devilish. And what did Paul say? Paul said in the book of Corinthians, he said that the wise, the wisdom of men is foolishness to Yah.
Oh, yes.
I had to get that out. It got kind of stuck there. I mean, but look at that. Look at how Proverbs 12:15 tells us that in the ways, and so therefore, when you go try to tell people about Easter, they ain't gonna hear you out. But that's why you are a light and an example to the world. And this is where Yasharel back when they changed, because what happened was they saw their king begin to mingle and do certain things with different groups that they were told not to.
That's right.
And so therefore we have to get back to what Yah told us to do, and that's keeping his statutes, his way. He told Shalomah or Solomon, his name means peaceful, by the way. So remember, it said that all days of his life up until he did wrong, guess what? It was peace on every side. But when he disobeyed Yah, he stirred up what? An enemy against him. And then what happened? His son came forth, and then what happened? There was a division because he sought the counsel of what? The foolish. Because the foolish were wise in their own eyes. Let me read something to you real quick, and then I drop it on over to wifey poo here. So let's look at something. Kings, 1 Kings chapter 12. 1 Kings chapter 12. verses 1 through 11. And I want y'all to remember this chapter. And if you want to read through this chapter, because I'm going to come back next week with more of this chapter, because as I read more and more of it, I gain a better understanding on, wow, how division has plagued y'all's people so much. And we had to get out of that. We had to get out of that whole division and mess of not being able to at least hear one another. I ain't saying that you have to do exactly what I say, but take the time to listen. And then if the truth ain't being presented after you touch the spirit by the spirit, then you throw it out.
That's right.
Look what it said. 1 Kings chapter 12, and I'm gonna read all the way down to verse 11. And your Bible, his name is Rehoboam, and mine, his name is Rehoboam. All right, so Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Yashar were come to Shechem to make him king. Now listen to this, he was of the line of David, he was about to be anointed king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Mitzrayim or Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled. Now back, if you go back and read the chapter before, he fled from Solomon, because y'all had already prophesied that if you don't get this together, then the kingdom will be divided up, and I'll give it to your servant. And Jeroboam happened to be that servant. So it said that verse 3 that they sent and called him. So now Yashar called him because he was also in line to be ordained, because he would get the 10 tribes of northern Israel, while Rehoboam would get the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Benjamin in the southern kingdom. Now, the thing about that is, between both, you had the Levites mixed in and with both tribes, all right? With both, all the tribes, actually. So look at this. So it said, verse 3, that they sent and called him, and Jeroboam, and all the assembly of Yasharel came and spoke unto Rehoboam, saying, your father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make the grievous service of your father and his heavy yoke, which he put upon us, lighter, and we will serve you. Now listen to this. They're telling that we will serve you faithfully if you're willing to lighten our load. Now remember what Yahushua gonna do. He came to lighten our load, right? Yes. So now when you look at Rehoboam, he's of the line of David, but he doesn't have the heart of David. That's right, he isn't willing to be a servant king. He wants to be a tyrant king. And what did Yahushua say? Only the Gentiles lord over each other. So he began to lord over the people. That's the type of king that he was gonna be. But now look at this. And he said unto them, depart ye. Now he's telling them to get away. Leave for a second, because I got the he ain't say pray. See, he said, depart for 3 days, then come again, and the people departed. Now, one thing that he did right was he did seek counsel from the elders that counseled Solomon. Now we know that Solomon was a wise man, but he still had counsel, right? So look at this. It said, the king Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon that was there where his father lived, and said, how do you advise? Listen, how do you counsel that I may answer this people? Look what they said. They spoke unto him, if ye will be a servant, right there, that affected anything that they were saying to him. Because the first thing that came out of his mouth, the first thing that he heard come out of their mouth was, he has to be a servant. And remember, as followers of Yahushua, we are all called to be servants.
That's right. Now.
We are all called to be servants. Even Yahushua himself was a subservient, right? Servant king. He served. Remember when he washed the feet? He served. And even when he did, he healed, he served, he did things to serve others. But look what he said. And I spoke unto them, saying, you will be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them and answer them and speak good words to them. Then they will be your, listen to that, servants forever. They will serve you faithfully if you're willing to serve them faithfully. But look what happened. But he forsook the counsel. Go back to Psalm 1. What do we say in Psalm 1?
Blessed is the man
that does not sit in the counsel of the wicked. So look what he said. It said, but he forsook the counsel of the old men which they had given him and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him. Now remember, these men that grew up with him, he was already royalty. Now they probably had a little higher up in their blood, but at the same time, they was the crown prince.
That's right.
So they envied him already, most likely, and wanted to be in his seat. But look what they did. So they did this because think about it. Every time you have something, what do other people do? They covet over the things that you have. And so therefore, when you go to get counsel from them, what they gonna do? They gonna lead you in what? The wrong direction. That's right. So that they can see you what? Fall.
That's right. Come on.
Right? That's what Proverbs, 11 and 14 says.
Right.
So look at this. And it said, but he forsook the counsel of the old men which had given him and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, which stood before him. And he said unto them, what counsel give ye that ye may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which your father did put upon us lighter. And the young men that were grown up with him spoke unto him, saying, thus shall you speak unto this people that spoke unto you, saying, your father made your yoke heavy, but make it lighter unto us. Thus shall you say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loin. And now, whereas my father did lay you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father has chastised you with whips, I will chastise you with scorpions. So they already given them bad advice.
Yeah.
And the people are willing to follow that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's willing to follow that because he think that that's gonna keep him as a good king. But what ends up happening is the kingdom is divided. What did we just read? We read that seeking with the right kind of wisdom, everything will cherish and prosper. But when you seek the counsel of a fool, what happens? Things begin to fall. That's right. And that's what's going to happen to the kingdom of Yahshua, and it's going to be divided.
Awesome, because we're on one mind and one accord, and that's why you should not seek counsel of the wicked, because bad company corrupts your character. And with that, I'm gonna go from 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 11. But now I have written unto you not to keep company, if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or a covetous, or an adulterer, or a rallier, or a drunken, or an extortioner, or which such one do not eat. And see, that's what he did. He went and partake at the devil's table instead of listening to the counsel of the wise. He went and listened to the counsel of the devil. And see, a lot of times we cannot do that because now they don't corrupt his character as being a king. Now they don't corrupt him because he didn't want to listen to the counsel of the wise. So many times we as people of Yahuwah, we rather seek counsel and wisdom from the world, from our friends, instead of seeking counsel from Yahuwah. He told us to seek ye the kingdom of heaven first and his righteousness, and everything else shall be added. We got to seek him. We cannot seek man. He told us not to put our trust in man, but put it in him. But so many times, what do? We go to our friends. That's true.
We seek man first. And if you think about it, what else should Rehoboam had done? Okay, you got the counsel of the wise men or the old men. You got the counsel of your friends or the men that you love, but you didn't seek Yah on the matter.
Never said it.
So a lot of times, Yah is that deciding factor.
That's right.
Because he will confirm to you what the other said. Shabbat Shalom, Apostle. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I mean, and so a lot of times we have to recognize that if we seek Yah's counsel, even though we sought counsel from the wise men, we sought counsel from our friends.
That's right.
We need to seek counsel from Yah.
That's right.
Because Yah is always going to be that deciding factor on the right thing to do. Because remember, there's always a right in man's eyes. What man think is right, they assume this is right. I did this right, but is it right in Yah's eyes? So we had to keep our eyes open to things like that. I mean.
We're going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 33. He tells us to be not deceived. Evil communication corrupts good manner. When we cannot just sit around and just gossip. We cannot sit around and just let our communication be evil spoken of because we want to sit around without. Certain family members are not saved. That's why he tells us to come out from amongst them and be ye separate. We cannot just sit around them and have a good time and party and do things that we used to do in our past time. Now it's time to get rid of the old man and put on the new man. We got to have a renewed mind. But so many times, like I said, when we get around certain family members, we want to just have a good time, knowing they have not given their life to Yahuwah. He said, "Be not deceived. Evil communication corrupts good manners." So many times people are watching what you're doing. That's why you got to let your life speak for you. And I'm going to come from James chapter 3, 14 through 17, because these verses tie in together of what he was speaking on. Because when you think about just sitting in the company of different people and getting advice, are you going to get advice from the world or are you going to get advice from Yah? And that's what we've been speaking on. And in James chapter 3, verses 14 through 17, he breaks it down very good about seeking advice from the world and seeking advice from Yahuwah. And it starts off in 14. But if you have bitter envy and strife in your heart, glory not and lie not against the truth. As children of Yahuwah, we should not have any of this still in us. These things should have came out of us when he came in and cleansed us out and made us whole and purified us. So if we got any bitter envy and strife in our heart, glory not.
Right.
This wisdom. Number 15 said, this wisdom descends not from above, but is earthly, sensual, and devilish. That means that you're not walking in the Ruach, you're still walking in the flesh. Because you should not be jealous of any of your neighbors. You should not be jealous of any of your children, your husband, your wife. You should not have strife, division in nowhere. You should love everyone. Love will cover a multitude of sin. Through love and kindness is how he would draw thee. Love is not boastful. Love is not jealous. Love is not envy. Love is not puffed up. Right. So if you have any of these things in you, you're still walking in the flesh. You're still worldly. But number 16 says, for where envy and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work. Every evil work. And we already know that Yahuwah is not the author of confusion. Right. He is not the author of confusion. And every evil work. And we know what all the evil works are. Adultery, we can find that in Galatians. It's adultery, lasciviousness, backbiting, ravenous, envy, jealousy. So we can find all these fornicators, liars. We can find all these, every evil work. But the wisdom that is from above is pure, then peaceable, gentle. Are we not listening to the fruits of the Spirit? And easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruits of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace. So when we get peace, when we get wisdom that comes from above, it is pure. That means it is holy, it's just, it's righteous. So we got to understand that we cannot have the worldly wisdom. We got to have that wisdom that comes from Yahuwah. So any kind of situation that we get, take it to him in prayer and let him work it out. Because our weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but spiritual. And the only way it can be torn down is by the mighty hand of Yahuwah.
Right. I mean, so look at Proverbs chapter 19, verse 20. Look what it says here. Look what it says here. It says, hear counsel and receive instruction, that ye may be wise in your latter end. Think about that. In your older days, when you, as you grow old if you're willing to hear counsel first, that means, taking advice from others and not just always going off of your own understanding, because a lot of times we try to jump and do things and we jump the gun and we do it the wrong way, right? Yes. But if we take the time to receive instruction, because now you may be getting counsel from people that surround you, but then y'all may give you instruction that gives you confirmation to what they said, or even one of your elders may come to you and give you instruction. A lot of times we feel like, oh, because we get an instruction, I got to bow down. But you're not bowing down. You're honestly submitting yourself properly before the authority over you that God has placed over you, and you're learning to follow through with y'all's plan for your life by receiving that instruction, because then it says that ye may be wise in your latter end. So we have to be careful on the way that we when we get an instruction, if we're gonna do the instruction, do it how it's told to you. Don't listen, when I'm giving instructions how to put together my TV set that comes in the thing. Okay, if I try to turn it on before I put the plug in, it ain't gonna work, right? And so therefore we have to follow the instructions that's given to us, because if we don't follow the instructions, we sometimes we try to be fast, cut corners. Guess what that do? They only cause problems in the latter end. That's right. But if you learn how to receive the instruction and be wise about how you deal with it, oh man, this scripture just told me to hear counsel first, and then told me to receive the instruction, and then the wisdom part will work through. That's right. So we have to be careful. We have to pay attention. Yes. I understand. Yes. Go ahead, Lil. I could keep going. Y'all, she said you can keep going. I'm surprised on that one. She said you can keep going. So let's look at something else, because something that we're in is a spiritual warfare. So I want y'all to take this scripture and I want you to look at it in Proverbs chapter 24. Proverbs chapter 24, verse 6. And Shabbat Shalom to Flower Girl and Brother Mecca. I see y'all popped up there. So Shabbat Shalom to y'all as well. But look at Proverbs chapter 24, verse 6. Look what it says. It said, for by wise counsel you shall make your war, and a multitude of counselors there is safety. Look at that. Yes. And so one thing we have to realize is that we are in a spiritual warfare. And so every time we leave our house and we go into different places, there's spiritual warfare happening out there. Every time we send our children to school, it's so many different things happening in the spiritual realm. But if you're in tune with the spirit of Yah, the Ruach HaKodesh, and you're in prayer, you're in your word, you're being, meditating day and night on it, then those things that are happening spiritually, as you seek him and through counsel, you understand how to fight this warfare, because you know that your weapons of warfare are not what? Carnal.
That's right.
It's not carnal. And so therefore you got people out there trying to fight off demons with guns and knives and trying to obliterate the enemy, thinking that they're gonna be able to do it in a ruffian way, when that's not the way.
That's right.
That's not the way. He didn't tell us to do it that way. He told us to do what first? Put on the whole armor of Yah. As we put on that armor and we realize what each piece of armor represents, see, that armor doesn't represent you being somebody that's slaying millions or anything like that. But guess what that armor does represent? It represents your light that he gives to you to defend others that are being attacked. Because see, we have to realize this. When them knights used to put on their armor, and listen, the armor, y'all, ain't like what a knight is, but I'm just giving you I'm trying to break it down to you. When the knights would put on their armor, they were fighting for who? The king. Yeah. And the kingdom. And what are we a part of? The kingdom. We are fighting this spiritual warfare to help our brothers and sisters out there that are not aware. And see, a lot of times the people that were part of the kingdom, they didn't understand the warfare that was going on outside of them. That's right. But their part was to do what? Trust the king that he would take care of. Yes. And so we have to trust the king. And just as we have been dubbed ignited and given his armor to put on, because guess what? It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody everybody, if you read Ephesians chapter 6, Ephesians chapter 6, you understand how that armor plays a role and walking in this war that we're in. And so therefore, as I said in verse 24, verse 6, for by wise counsel you shall make your war, and in a multitude of counselors, a multitude of wise men, counselors, those that are willing to give advice. But in this case, guess what? How many elders do y'all have sitting around your throne? 24. 24. He could have just had one, he could have had two, but he got 24. I'm pretty sure those elders are wise. And I'm pretty sure y'all can he has the wisdom to make proper judgment on things. But he has 24 elders sitting around his throne. Right? And so therefore we have to understand that in that having a multitude of counselors, meaning you can't do this all alone by yourself. No, you can't. That's why we are gathering together in these small group homes. That's why we're beginning to get together. I ain't sitting up there saying, go, you have to go and join to no building. I already sent you out the email address. I already sent you out the information if you want to join the house. Remnant House is open to you. Yes. But guess what? You just ain't joining just to be a spectator. Come on. You join us so that we can all be able to lean on one another. That's right. We have to be able to hold one another up. And look what Acts 2 and 42 said. When they gathered together, they did what? They broke bread together. Hallelujah. They prayed together. They worshiped together. They called on his name together. Had all things in common. Hallelujah. And so therefore, when we come to this understanding, we were able to counsel with one another. That's right. Then guess what? My brother, I can hold you up. My sister, I can hold you up. Yeah. And when I feel like I'm leaning and feeling about to fall, then you can hold me up. That's right. And sometimes y'all know the enemy will try to manipulate and break us through that fear, what we were talking about last week. But we have to be willing to overcome. That's right. Right? Through what? Right. That power. Yes. Through that love. Yes. What else? Peace, goodness. Hallelujah. All long suffering. Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom, sister. Yeah. I mean, you got anything else, my love? But let me reference something with that, because if you go to Luke chapter 14, look what Messiah said right down Luke chapter 14, verse 31. When it comes to just jumping out there and making war, look what it said. It said, or what king going to make war against another king sits not down first and consults whether he is able with 10,000 to meet him that comes against him with 20,000. So you have to be able to make a wise decision by sitting down with those and consulting. And a lot of times, if listen, first off, if you got 20,000 against 10,000, the only person that can help you conquer them 20,000 with 10,000 is Yah. Come on. Because Gideon did it with 300. Ready to say, come on, man. And he started out with 20,000. Right. And had it slowly, gradually, they had to go off. But you're gonna consult first with who? Right. Your counsel, and then with Yah. That's right. We have to be willing to go to Yah. What the title of that wise counsel is what? Seeking Yah. Why is that? Because if you look at Psalm chapter 16, right? Psalm chapter 16, verses 7 through 11. Look what it says. I will bless Yahuwah who has given me counsel. Listen, my mind also instructs me in the night seasons. I have set Yahuwah always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad and my glory rejoices. My flesh also shall rest in hope. For you will not leave my soul in hell, neither will you suffer your Holy One to see corruption. You will show me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand there are pleasures forevermore. Amen. So look at that. Look at that. By seeking the counsel of Yah, that's your counselor. Yes, and here goes some more proof that he's our counselor, because it said that he would send the comforter back, and the comforter, right, would be our counselor, right? Yes. But then he told us in the book of Isaiah, in the book of Isaiah, look at here. Huh? I got you. I'm there. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. The government shall be upon his shoulder, and he shall be called, listen to this, Wonderful Counselor.
All right now.
Huh?
Yes.
El Gibor, or the Mighty One, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. You saw that word counselor in there, right?
Yes.
The one that you go to and consult.
Yes.
That's why I said that now that the veil has been rent, we have a high priest that we can go to.
Hallelujah.
As we go to the throne of grace boldly and we see him. He's the mediator between us and the Father.
That's right now.
And therefore we make our petition known unto him.
Yeah.
And so therefore, as we seek his counsel, guess what? I promise you that if you take the time and you're going through a situation that you stop and pray, I guarantee you, I said it like that, guarantee, not guarantee, guarantee, that he will give you wise instruction on how to handle whatever situation it is you go through. Why? Because I'm a living witness. She's a living witness.
That's right.
Anybody else in here a living witness to that?
Hallelujah.
I know.
Yes.
And I have watched his power work in and through people that love him and is willing to keep his commandments. And so therefore we have to seek him. He's our counselor. He sent us a counselor. And therefore the Comforter counsels us. The Comforter gives us peace. The Comforter gives us joy. The Comforter does so many things for us. Yeah. Right? But we have to be willing to follow through on instruction.
That's right.
And be obedient.
That's right. When he was talking, it reminded me of my testimony. A lot of you guys know that I was diagnosed with stage 2 triple negative grade 3 breast cancer, and they said that's one of the most aggressive cancers. So when I began to seek YAHUAH, because I had heard from one of my mentors not to go through with chemo, so I said, okay, I'm not gonna do this chemo thing. But then I began to kept seeking Yah's counsel, and as I began to seek counsel from Yah, he told me he wanted me to go through. And I'm like, oh, Yah, I don't want to do this, but I could not do it because I'm always, respect him as a father, not my will, but thy will be doing. So I felt like Yahushua when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, when he was sitting there, he was praying, and he said, the flesh is weak, but the spirit, hallelujah, is willing. So I began to feel like that, and he told me I had to go through with chemo. So he said I had to be a testimony. I had to let my light shine. So a lot of times when we listening to Yah's instruction, we got to go through. And he want and one of his fruits of the spirit is long suffering. Sometimes we have to suffer. He told us we must suffer many things for his name's sake, but count it our joy when we go through these things. In this lifetime, we must have tribulation. And if I would have listened to myself, I would have got out the will of YAHUAH, because flesh would have told me, don't go through with it. But now, since I'm going through, I'm able to minister to people. I'm able to understand those who are in chemo. I'm able to understand those who have pain, those who experience a lot of tiredness in their body. Even though I'm not going through what a lot of people go through, because of my Father who is keeping me, sustaining me, but I'm able to tell them that the joy of the Lord shall be your strength.
Oh, man. I want to, you got any other scriptures? But I'm about to.
No.
All right. So train coming into the station, everybody. Choo-choo. Pulling in.
Hallelujah.
So I want to read one last scripture to you. And this is something that when my mother and father wasn't able to guide me or give me direction the way that I needed, because we was all going through we was all going through our own things or whatever, and life had beat me up or whatever. Psalm 27 is a psalm that I always went to. So I'm gonna start from verse 7, and I'm gonna go to verse I'm just gonna read it. Y'all just, I don't know where I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna read it. So look what it said. Verse 7. Hear, O YAHUAH, when I cry with my voice, have mercy also upon me and answer me. When you said, seek my face, My heart said unto you, your face, Yahuwah, will I seek. Hide not your face from me, put not your servant away in anger. You have been my help. Leave me not, neither forsake me. And I saw what my brother said that on there. I mean, I love that we all be on one mind and one accord like that. And he didn't even know that I was going to read this. And I didn't even know that I was going to read this. I only had one of these verses down, but I decided, go ahead with the whole thing. But look what it said. Hide not your face from me, put not your servant away in anger. You have been my help.
Yes.
How has he been his help? He counseled me while I was going through things.
Right
when Saul was trying to trap me down, I had to stop and pray and ask you and seek you on what to do. And you told me, touch not my anointing. Not to do my prophet no more. So look at this. He said, hide not your face, verse 9, from me. Put not your servant away in anger. You have been my help. Leave me not, neither forsake me, O Elohai of my salvation. When my mother and father have forsaken me, then Yahuwah will take me up. Teach me your way, O Yahuwah, and lead me in a plain path. Listen to that. Teach me your way. Instruct me.
That's right.
Counsel me.
That's it.
So that I can be led down that straight path. That's the plain path. See, that's the path that nobody wants to go on because they consider it boring.
Yeah.
But I can tell you something. Yahusha told me that on that path there's trouble.
That
path there's sacrifice.
Yes.
On that path you're gonna have to endure.
Hallelujah.
It may seem plain when you look down it, but there's a lot going on that road. But that broad path, oh yeah, you always gonna find fun, but that's on temporary.
That's right.
Right? That's on temporary. That you're gonna find fun, you're gonna find this, but you're also gonna find that edge to hell.
That's right. Come on now. You better
that edge to the lake of fire.
That's right.
That road leads to. That's why it's so broad, because there's a cliff at the end of it.
Come on.
I mean, so look what he said. He said, deliver me not over unto the will of my enemies, for false witnesses are risen up against me, such as breathe out cruelty. I have fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of Yahuwah in the land of the living. Wait on El Yahuwah. Listen to that now, y'all. Wait on El Yahuwah. Right. When you pray to the Father for instruction or for counsel or for advice or consultation or confirmation or whatever it is, wait on him. Be patient. That's a part of the fruit of the Spirit. Wait on El Yahuwah. Be of what? Good courage. And he shall strengthen your heart, I say, on El Yahuwah. So, in closing, as we go through this journey, as we push on, continue to seek Yah. Yes, continue to seek Yah. And guess what? She thought I wasn't gonna say that, but there was one other person that was anointed and appointed and ordained here in House of Restoration Remnant House, which is my wife, Tamika Smith. She was ordained prophetess. Amen. So we praise God. So right now, as that everyone that's here with us give, and everyone that will join us later on, give a praise offering.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
Glory be to God.
Yes.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
And then, hey, look, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. You don't have to stop here, because I'm pretty sure my apostle about to be airing soon. So y'all join us on Remnant House. He always have an awesome word.
Yes.
And I mean, it's edifying unto the soul.
Yes.
Y'all truly uses him. So I'm here to tell you, just take this time on a Sabbath day. Continue to be in your scripture. Continue to just enjoy your time with Yah. I mean, and don't forget to say,
thank you, Yahusha.
All right, y'all. I love you. Yahuwah loves you. Don't forget to say, thank you, Yahusha.
Have a blessed and peaceful day.